Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of Solo Leveling episode number 7. A big apology for the delay. I am very ill. I've been very busy, temperature, and I think I sound really bad, but I won't know until I start editing this video how bad I actually sound. We're going to talk about episode number 7. This episode was really cool. I've got some thoughts and some bits and pieces to run through. I also want to do the honorable thing of being your anime friendly neighbor and tell you if you are really enjoying the soundtrack, Hiroyuki Sawano is literally releasing every single episode's worth of music as they air, so make sure you go to his YouTube channel. Also support him because he's absolutely amazing. Anyway, I really do think that the soundtrack on this whole show is just amazing. I had Dark Aria stuck in my head since last week because that was the bit of music they played during the bit where Jinwoo makes his big decision. I really thought that piece was beautiful, so found out that the boy had me covered and I've been listening non-stop on his channel. All the music that comes out of the show is being released weekly, which I really appreciate him doing. I'm glad that all the music is readily available for people like us, because this week the music did take a really nice little turn and I've got some good things to say about it. Hopefully you guys are looking after yourselves. I have started looking ahead at next season. Currently, there's 0 shows I want to break down. So this is a problem. I'm going to go back at another point when I'm not feeling so crap. Hopefully get some shows on the channel to start breaking down for you guys. Maybe you guys as well have some recommendations for what's coming in the next season. So you could perhaps even give me a few little hints, which is rare for me to do it that way. But currently, I've got nothing really grabbing me. Of course, I've got some shows coming out that I want to watch, but nothing that I feel would be good for a review on the channel. Thank you so much. Let's get going for episode number 7. We do have a little moment where Jin is perhaps contemplating the effects of what's happened. So I did say that I wanted to know if killing a human would actually have an effect on Jin. It does and it doesn't. He does obviously fade out and start thinking a little bit, and then his sister calls him back in the room. I want to know if they're eating KFC because I want KFC so bad, but I'm on a bit of a diet right now. But I could imagine I could have the skinless version of chicken. I'm just not allowed the top bit, which is irritating. I do love it when we do get food in shows, hence why I do break down sometimes a food anime show, because I really enjoy that aspect. But that's not what we're here for. If it happens again, I will do it again. There's also a confirmation about who the guy, the leader, was related to. And we even see his brother this week as well, which is concerning. I have questions about that sequence. The downside, I guess, to having these amazing powers is Jin is never going to be able to get drunk, never be able to experience it. I guess the system that he's now in is protecting him from consuming any kind of poison. I guess that would be similar if Jin decided he wanted to take up smoking. It probably wouldn't allow him to do so, which is very handy, very clever. And you can definitely see the allure for things like an elixir of life, why people and players would be motivated to actually go and make these kind of things, because they're things that people would dream about. I guess people have those lofty dreams of living forever or extending their lives. Jin initially turning down the offer for a lot of money. I do wonder as well though, if you don't take the offer, is the other guy going to start spilling the beans? Even though that's dangerous, he would be risking having Jin coming after him, and I don't know. It felt like the guy was getting angrier and angrier, and I get it, but you can't also force somebody to do your biddings. He needs to have a bit more of a sway over Jin, even though the offer is clearly weighing on him because he asks his sister later on, what would you do with that amount of money? I guess because it's so unrealistic, you don't really have a plan. Like, I don't have a plan for if I miraculously win the lottery, because it's just not gonna happen. The chances are so low. You just don't think that far ahead. You can definitely see a change in the character, which I think is the most important thing for me in a show like this. I want to start seeing changes in the character. He can't be the same person he was in episode 1 because so much has happened. Jin is definitely more cautious. He's definitely a bit more savvy. Always quite smart anyway, because I guess he had the brains, not the brawn. The brother. Now, the brother seems to be foreign or in a foreign country because he asks about the laws about killing somebody in a different country. It seems similar. If the crime is done in a different state, they often try you in that state, depending on state rules. So some states will try you with that rule. You'll have your sentence there, and then you get sent back and do another sentence where you're from. Some countries are very similar. I know there was a case recently where a guy committed a bad crime in the States, but he was, I think, from the Netherlands or something. He had to serve a term in America, and then he was sent back to do the crime and the sentence in his own country. I don't know why she's saying that he'd get less time for being sent back to his country currently, because often enough you still have to do at least, I guess, the minimum sentence. And the minimum sentence for murder, I think, is like 15 to 10 years. Murder is life, and you get like 25 to 30 years. 30 is the max. If he's going to kill 2 people, and we're talking 2 life sentences, they'd have to prove that he's going to kill them. I don't know how he's planning to do that. If he's just outright going to go murder some people, risking everything on. I don't understand where you've got the information that he has been murdered. The unlikelihood of these 2 people who survived being able to do that they're low, because it depends how much sway and importance you have on the manor system that it is to grade all these people. Because I know the guy in the dungeon said that it's possible to cheat a little bit. The likelihood of 2 of those people cheating about their levels and stuff, I don't know what the odds are in the system, because I don't know the world enough. It would seem that Jinwoo's got probably another chance to kill another human at some point if the guy's going to come at him, but he'd hopefully be able to claim self-defense on that one, because the guy's going to come at him and have no chill. I'm also guessing that the guy didn't know that his brother was killing people, because would you really be okay with your brother killing people? I know they're your family, but it's a really big question. And I guess if my sister was found out to be a murderer, murder's bad. I wouldn't support her. It's going to be interesting to see if we do start to cross that bridge and start to talk about those moral questions, which I think is what I like about solo leveling. It's making me ask moral questions. Jin is considering the offer, and I do like the bit where he's even like, it's a bit unrealistic. But it would be interesting to see if he does decide to do it, but it would kind of defeat the title of solo leveling, because he'd obviously be working with a whole group, despite the fact he'd probably be doing all the work. But I think if he's working with a group and he has to do 19 raids, the secret's not going to stay secret forever, and I think there's going to be an issue when he's essentially found out. And the guy who came to see him in the hospital now is aware that he survived yet another dungeon. I don't know if he's going to maybe also suspect that he's cheating the device a little bit. But it is clear to see that Jin's stamina is becoming more and more insane. I do wonder if his sister at some point is going to be suspicious, because clearly she knows her brother and she can see that stuff's changed. And especially if you're living with them as well, that most changes, especially if they're suddenly drastic, you're going to pick up on it. I think you only truly know somebody when you start to live with them. So I think with this case it's weird that she's not suspecting anything yet, because she just chalks it up to, oh, he's just a hunter regardless. You must have trained with him at some point when he was weak. Maybe you do actually know what his relative stamina would have been. Let's talk about the final chunk, because the final chunk is cool, and that's where most of the Sawano music starts to kick in, is where we go against this new beast, the Hound of Cerberus, I believe it's called, which is really cool. Cerberus in folklore is just interesting anyway, because he has so many different laws about him, what he looks like, and there's a lot of different people who have written about the idea of Cerberus, this hell guardian, a guardian of hell. I also like the fact as well that we're going into hell iconology, when Jin got his powers with the statues, it was about gods and these heavenly gods who are playing music. Now we're going down to hell. I am also appreciative that we're not strong enough yet. I was getting worried that we're starting to jump the powering system too quick. If Jin does get his hands on the elixir of life, he's going to have absolutely no motivation to continue. So at the moment, for the sake of the anime, he hasn't got his hands on the elixir of life. He's just got his hands on the recipe. He knows he needs to go into that dungeon to basically make the ultimate prize, cure everything. And we know he's going to use that on his mum. If he suddenly uses it on his mum, the doctor's not going to be suspicious. I guess there's going to be real life consequences too. The fight itself is really, really good. I like seeing Jin getting battered about a little bit in a nice way. I mean it, because I want this guy to learn. I want to see that there's a struggle. I don't want him to easily just defeat everything with just a swipe of a knife. We get to see his life and how potions work, and the fact that he worked out that if I consume poison I can actually heal myself, because that's how my body is kind of set up with the buff that I gained. That does remind me of Final Fantasy a little bit. So if your member had, I think it was zombie, you could hurt them to heal them, if that makes sense. Or if you wanted to, I think Final Fantasy X, go up against Yunalaska, one of her attacks is supposed to cure you or something. She uses cure and you have to make sure that they're not zombies, because if you use a full cure on a zombie, it kills them. So it reminds me a little bit of that, where he figured out that doing the opposite actually is a benefit to him, so he buys the poison instead, which is very, very clever. But I like the fact that there is this skill gap, I guess. I like the fact that he's not basically running through this going, oh, right, I can go through the hardest battle, I can go through this. It gives him also a goal. I'm going to get strong enough to go through the hellish place and get this item. I guess whoever is sending these screens knows that people are going to jump at the chance to even make the ultimate item to save somebody. I still want to know if the S-Class people know about this, if they're running on the same system. Are there S-Classes out there who also see windows in front of them opening? Maybe that's the reason why there's only 7 of them, but we don't have enough information to jump to those conclusions just yet. So I'm very interested to see how we're going to go. But honestly, a really good episode, really liked it. And it's nice to see a fiery instance where we actually have fire being used, and the effect where monster bean juice is sprayed everywhere to put the fire out is quite a nice finish, because you know that the fight's over. He's definitely leveled up a bit more, which is cool. But I think it's going to get to a point where in the real world, he's going to be able to stop hiding it, because it's going to be impossible to hide that he is super strong. The brother, he was able to crush his phone like that. I think it's going to be something similar where Jin's just able to crush things without even realising how strong he is. A fantastic episode. I'm so sorry it's delayed by a day. I still feel rotten, but I need to get these episodes up because of how busy I am, so I can't have things delayed too much on the channel. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the episode. Also, let me know if there's a particular show in particular that you think that I might enjoy and you want to hear me break down on the channel for next season, because at the moment we don't have any breakdowns. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye guys.